have that chemistry in order to give the feedback and improve, and they have been so successful in doing that.
And they always did better when they were having a good time. Marin already is. Smeb wants to fight against Marin. Came into this tournament stating, you know, I get to face off against Huni at some point. Now he's got Marin. Those two are going to be players to watch.
And now we need to see what the teams wants to do for game one, because we keep talking about how Smeb can beat Marin in the top lane.
Yeah.
That's a way for KOO Tigers to win. But that's a very easy strategy for SKT to figure out. Okay, they might try and camp our top laner and kill him, so they should be ready for that. First ban for KOO Tigers, though, does show they want to respect the counter pick to Fiora that we normally see.
Well, already we have a pinch of Lulu or Gangplank, so Lulu could actually go through to SKT right here. Already with SKT bans as well, they banned Tom Kent, something that KOO Tigers had not banned this entire world. So KOO wanted that. Now we'll see if SKT takes the Lulu away.
It's that or Rek'Sai. What KOO Tigers is doing is saying, okay, we ban Elise. Our jungler, in order for him to have an early game impact, he needs Elise or he needs the Rek'Sai. That's the two preferred picks for Hojin. SKT has to decide, do we want to go for that Lulu pick and say we're going to build full team fight here, or do they just take the early game impact jungler? That's what they're doing.
And this is something KOO Tigers opted into in pretty much all of their games against Fnatic. Hojin played 2 games on Zac, and honestly, he got bodied early game by Reignover's Rek'Sai, but they recovered, they played from behind, and they won team fights. Here, they give away the Rek'Sai for the Lulu. I would say that's completely as planned.
I think this is exactly what KOO Tigers were expecting. SKT even banned Kalista on blue side because they were maybe expecting this. Okay, do we choose between Kalista or Rek'Sai? We don't want to take that trade either, so they had to ban it away. And that's good bans so far, a good pick and ban phase for the KOO Tigers. It is lining up for a Rise pick though for Faker. He likes to pick it into the Lulu in that mid lane. We assume it's going to be KOO playing the Lulu and not Smeb, because he wants to be on a carry now. It's how he can shine.
Well, KOO very, very good with that Lulu, kind of putting Juggernaut into the scene, being that team to bring it out. Probably won't go for the Kog'Maw here, but have the safety for Prey in those late game fights already. Sivir has been picked quite a bit towards the end of Worlds and continues to be picked now here in the first game by SKT.
So Sivir is often the response when you see a Lulu comp, because you want to be ready in case they run like a Juggernaut composition where you need to be able to dive that backline. You get the Sivir to add the utility for your team so you can reach the AD carry. So often it's just a pick where people say, okay, in case they do this, we have a counter now, or we have something that works well against it. Obviously, we haven't seen any AD carry pick yet for KOO Tigers. They can go Ashe if they want to here.
Yeah, because it's into a Sivir who's not the strongest laner, but what SKT has picked so far is a huge amount of map control. Global ultimates on what will probably be their jungler and support with Rek'Sai and Shen, Sivir for the wave clear, and Prey answers with the Jinx, which to me really feels like what Korean teams were picking in place of Kog'Maw is the Jinx, as kind of that hyper carry that they can look to protect. This is a Jugger Jinx composition coming together.
It is, and that's again why SKT picked that Sivir. They said, okay, in case you want to protect that AD carry, we want to have something where we can dive that back line. And KOO Tigers will have a very, very strong siege with Lulu, with the Jinx, and we have an early game jungler for Hojin as well. The one left, and he had a good game against Fnatic last week on this Lee Sin. He needs to do it again, even though it's into a not the greatest matchup for Lee Sin.
Very interesting to see the Jinx as well. Hardly ever saw it in LCK Summer. Just wasn't something that Korea picked up, but here at Worlds, it's definitely something they'll revert to.
I really feel like it's something that the Korean teams learned during the boot camp when all the teams came to Korea to play against them, and also through group stage success. And Faker goes with it again.
Wow.
So basically, he was thinking about taking the Rise here because, again, the matchup into Lulu is good for the Rise to sit in free farm. The problem is, it would be very difficult for them to kill, for SKT to kill the AD carry. Rise would have to like run at them, Alistar can CC him, Lee Sin can CC him, kick him away, Lulu and everything. It would be too difficult for the Rise to deal proper damage, I think, towards this backline of KOO Tigers. So they want more diving potential, but you're sacrificing quite a lot by taking this Kassadin.
Yeah, we'll see how much presence Faker can have in lane on Kassadin, because normally that's the pick that gets pushed in really hard. The one thing I like about Kassadin in this context is they have the Sivir to clear mid lane very early on in the game if they want to, and they can send Faker to a side lane earlier on. Not to mention they have a lot of global presence to make up for this thing, and now we get to see Smeb's Riven. This is such a good matchup for Riven into the Rumble historically. This is actually when you would pick it, even before Worlds.
This was one of the reasons Riven came back into the meta for someone like Smeb, because he was picked into Rumble. You would destroy him in lane so badly every single time. But really, SK Telecom, they're not picking for the laning phase here at all. They're picking to take these mid-game fights. You have Castle in one side lane, Rumble's in the other one, then you group for this dragon. and you try and fight before this Jinx reach a 2 or 3 item spike when she becomes a monster.
And I want to see if Faker sticks with Ignite, because he hasn't actually run as much teleport as others have. They have a lot of global presence within their team because of the Shen and the Rek'Sai, but maybe Faker brings the Ignite to have a little bit more pressure in lane. Feels like he's going to be sticking with that summer spell.
This works almost with KOO and against them. Everything's slow in the beginning, but when they love to fight, that's when SKT is going to want to fight as well, right in that mid game. It is going to be explosive once we get out of the laning phase. I cannot wait to see what comes from game one. Wolf picking up that Shen, 9-1 across worlds. So Shen himself having a great tournament, great worlds, and he's going to be all over the map protecting his team as Prey tries to cancel people out.
It's going to be one of these support picks. If you want to make sure your top laner can do fine one versus one, you get a global for him from the support to help him out. That's going to make it tough to kill Marin.
All right, as we load up for the first game in this best of 5 set, get on Twitter, share your predictions by sending hashtag SKTWin or hashtag KOOWin to @LOL Esports. Tell us who you think is going home with the Summoners Cup. We're about to find out right now who's going to get the momentum in game one. SKT, as we said, by the numbers, absolutely huge throughout the game. Hardly ever falling behind, and when they do, they always find a way back.
Yeah, and I cannot wait to see what happens in this early game. Here we go.
Normal spread by both teams to start this one off as we pan down Summoner's Rift, the battlefield where both teams will leave everything on the Rift before they leave here today.
And KOO Tigers right now, look at your minimap. They were setting up a small trap in their own jungle because SK Telecom in game one of their quarterfinal and semifinals, they did try and peek into the enemy jungle. Let's see what was going on, maybe see if they can get in some deep wards to spot a potential lane swap. I think KOO Tigers had read that, they were sitting ready. But SKT is saying, it's game one, we're going to play it super safe.
And I liked what KOO Tigers did early here because they also placed the ward within their own blue buff, so if SKT had done an invade on that side, they would at least be able to scout it. But as you said, this is a very conservative start for SKT, which we may actually expect from this one. KOO Tigers hasn't been able to make early game moves, and especially with the casting on the side of SKT, they're okay with this game stretching a little bit longer, despite SKT having some very short games already so far at Worlds.
But this pick and ban phase is why we talked about how KOO Tigers in this meta right here, this patch we're playing on at Worlds, fits them a lot better. Because Smep gets to play the big carry up in the top lane. He played a tank every single time KOO Tigers faced SKT in the summer split. Now he's on a Riven into a Rumble. That's a fantastic matchup for him. At the same time, KOO can bring teleport in the mid lane, so he will have an impact even in case he loses. Kassadin at level 6 can take down this Lulu. And it's very difficult to do anything, so KOO just has to farm up and make sure he can protect his Jinx later.
As you were saying, they're amazing making that transition, and KOO only gets better when they have time to sit on the meta, when they have time to process that meta and get the strategy down they want. Here, going back to pretty much a normal comp in their Juggernaut phase, or Jugger Jinx, if you will, and we'll see if it helps them out once they get to those mid-game fights.
Yeah, Wolf was trying to do some jungle harassing, but he does come up a little bit short. The fact that they push KOO off the blue buff has very, very low impact. Rumble doesn't benefit from blue buff, neither does Rek'Sai, neither does Lee Sin, neither does Riven. The blue buff is actually pretty useless since the experience you gain from the blue buff is the same as at the other camps early on in the game. So they're going to be able to take that, and we're seeing a pretty standard-ish lane swap here.
Yeah, but due to the fact that SKT was so passive level 1, they didn't want to try and invade anything. They had zero vision really of where KOO was starting. So they managed to snuck 2 camps on the side of KOO Tigers down here towards the bottom lane before they moved up. So you can see they now have the blue buff, enemy Grump and Wolf camp as well. On top side, they have some extra camps to do from the KOO Tigers. SKT has to just rush down, push on this tower as fast as possible, because they obviously don't want to fall behind in experience.
Yeah, since they are behind in the jungle camps, they actually wanted to accelerate their turret taking. However, KOO Tigers is winning this one more so because of the Jinx. They are able to pull down the turret with the minigun form, since she gets all that increased attack speed hitting the turret, and keep equal in the turret speed while actually having fewer people taking the turret. It is actually a good start here for the KOO Tigers.
And it's interesting to see this, more of an LCK lane swap. Nobody's at the turret to be taken down. Both teams go there for together and take it down themselves. There isn't a top laner to be taken out. They're all getting what they need.
Basically, the team's adapting to that fast push lane swap we've seen time and time again in the Western scene, obviously. KOO Tigers did give over the goal to Smith. Down the bottom side, we saw Marin and Bang. They traded gold between each other. I didn't really like that because Bang was on 800 gold anyway, or 875 to get a pickaxe, so he just ends up getting a second Dorans. But it does mean he can buy pink. I would have preferred to just see Marin get all that gold. Because they pushed it in so quickly, you didn't get up to these 18-20 CS you need to get that pickaxe plus the tower gold.
So last time we saw KOO on a Lulu, what do you get? First 5-6 blue buffs of the game. The team was very adamant about continuously giving him that blue buff so he could push down mid turret and then get himself to the other lanes, or just keep somebody like Faker in the mid lane constantly.
SKT really were in a hurry when it came to killing that tower. They didn't even manage to bounce the wave on the bottom side, so they sent down Smep from KOO Tiger to just pick up the entire wave. That's very, very good for him. You get a 2v2 top side, and you have a lane now pushing out for Smep to get some extra CS and extra experience, because KOO Tiger, because SK Telecom failed to bounce the tower, or bounce the minion wave.
Yeah, I absolutely agree right there, because SKT, now they have to worry about who gets dove first. Big team fight at the top lane.
Gorilla hitting up both Wolf and Bengi. The teleports are going to come in. That's KOO. Smeb's already there to fight. Eyes on Bengi. They turn to Wolf now. He's safer in the jungle for them to go after, and it may be him going down. They try to get the cripple towards him. That's going to be Wolf going down. First blood to the KOO Tigers.
Remember that Faker is not running teleport. He didn't want to leave the mid lane. He just sat there, pushed it into tower, and KOO Tiger said, we can take a fight up here. We're strong enough. Our top lane has picked up some farm, at least on the bottom side. You can see the big wave is still pushing in. Marin will catch that one. But KOO Tiger is investing everything into a team fight. We see this time and time again. So often, every single member gets an assist when KOO Tigers gets a kill.
Something that teams have actually been slow on is after that first turret, get in the other side of the jungle, put your vision down, take aggression there, and finally KOO makes it work for themselves here. A team, like we said, doesn't really get going that early. Well, you have a Riven on your team, so they'll take whatever's on their plate right now.
There's a chance for Bengi to gank down bottom side now. We know Smep has to overextend. He used Flash as well in that last little fight. You can see Bengi on your minimap now. He's down here, but KOO Tigers, they realize what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, Bengi's actually in position. It's late on the recall. He is really outnumbered.
He had to see the footsteps of KOO there as well, possibly calling Marin in late, but he baits himself into very low HP there.
Yeah, there's a good chance he was waiting on a recall right there, because he may not have been looking at his screen as he was walking in, even though he was in the right position. So the fact that they ran into him early, they extended cooldowns, they kind of tipped off the gank, and at least for now, Marin is safe.
But this is what the KOO Tigers do so well. They understand where will the enemy jungler go to for a gank, where will the enemy team set up a play. They knew, okay, there's a big wave pushing, our top laner needs help. 4 members go down and assist him, make sure he can push it out. SKT though,
Faker's level 6 here.
That's an 80 carry left alone on top side.
Prey in a real bad spot, and he hopes to get on his knees and do just that. Stays alive a little bit longer. Can Faker get the final hit? Here comes Gorilla. Should be able to pick it up, but it goes to Prey. 2-1 now in favor of the KOO Tigers.
Wolf started off taking that one very nicely as a level 2 Shen was able to clear aggro, but the patience of Prey using that heal late baited SKT into a disengage. They were really trying to funnel that first kill onto Faker to jumpstart him into this game, but because the heal was timed properly, it really delayed the kill from Faker, and KOO very deftly trades one back.
It is such a good trade for KOO Tigers. They defend their own top laner, the Riven, they pick the 1-to-split push, and at the same time, they trade 1-for-1 up in the top lane here for Prey. So great start for the KOO Tigers so far. Just gotta make sure that Smep can keep getting all the farm he needs, get him to that level 6 point, he can 1v1 against the Rumble, and suddenly you have split pushing pressure.
Absolutely. Focusing, getting Smep going. Prey gets himself going off a very nicely played dive from SKT. And maybe if Faker had that teleport, he'd been there sooner. Would have made it work. He did take that Ignite after all out of Champion Select. And KOO sprinkling a little bit of that magic dust here in the beginning of the game. Get themselves a slight lead, only working with 600 right now.
Just Gorilla instantly recalling after being towards the bottom lane. Forced Faker to basically say, I can't report out here.
He missed so many minions at that turret.
He definitely did. So Faker...
Seed wave going in. Could not get it, and now Faker back in lane. Level 7 as he returns. KOO gonna get his blue buff, so he'll continuously push Faker back into that lane. His kill pressure down with the Ignite down. So he'll pretty much be sitting pretty there, farming the minions up as he can. Still up 7 CS as he did that roam. Faker always making sure his lane is in position. so he doesn't fall behind in those instances.
And it's now 2 plays that actually did go in KOO Tiger's favor because they had the first gank work. The SKT gank, the split kills, actually failed. And coming up towards the 10 minutes here, we're going to have a very uncommon scenario where KOO Tigers is actually going to be up in gold. Because looking at the bracket stage in particular against KT and Fnatic, KOO averaged a gold deficit of 916 at 10 minutes, whereas SKT in their bracket stage were on average up 626. So this is a bit of a role reversal here for KOO Tigers, and since their strengths have been team fighting and the defensive play, it will be interesting to see if they can turn on an offensive stage of play, which is what they need to push as Faker is farming up on Kassadin.
This is only accelerating that good time that KOO Tigers love to have. 5 members of their team, very good friends, as you said, kind of misfits as they scrap around Deficio, but here making things work. And Hojin, as he is usually reactive, sits in the back, a little more proactive this game. You see him towards the top lane, hasn't had vision of Bengi, so he's sitting behind Smet. Little action towards the bot side, the teleport coming in right now from Marin. His ultimate is up. They lay down the equalizer. Wolf should be able to get out of this one. Marin into the fight now. KOO and Prey are the targets, and that's going to be KOO going down. SKT seemingly pulling this one back in their favor with just a few kills to the bot lane, and that's a double kill for Marin.
Massive play for SK Telecom here. Marin, he TP'd down, he walked behind the KOO Tigers. You can see they placed a pink ward in the lane. You're like, is there any ward where they can teleport? No, okay, we can take the fight then. Didn't realize that Marin then snuck behind through the jungle. In the end, SK Telecom sends down every single member. 3 kills for them.
So much for that gold lead, and also a complete lapse of pressure from the KOO Tigers. Faker made it down there on an Ignite Kassadin, and then his lane was not punished. KOO did match with the teleport. Smeb decided not to. I don't think he had the right position to do so. So SK Telecom really globally positioning better. It was rare watching any game so far at Worlds to see SKT actually commit 5 people to one side of the map.
Look at KOO Tigers placing the ping ward, saying, okay, there's nothing behind us right now, so we can take the fight here. Marin then
Riven
sneaks
needs
in.
to be in on that same ward.
Not sure why he's not there. He canceled his own teleport. Smeb up in the top lane. Maybe there's communication saying we can get 1 kill and it's fine. In the end, it ends up costing KOO Tigers so much down this bottom lane.
Yeah, and this was a glimpse of what you can do with the Shen and the Rek'Sai. They teleported the top laner. Bengi was at his own Gromp before he was able to make it into that fight, and Wolf doesn't even have his stand united yet. Not to mention, we saw the teleport burn from KOO already in this fight. Smeb really needed to match that teleport of KOO if they wanted a chance in that fight, but even then, they ended up losing it pretty substantially. Maybe he just saved his life there by not coming in.
And just also good understanding of cooldowns here for SK Telecom. Faker is going to trade Core. He's going to keep doing this, by the way, over and over and over. There's really no damage. Core can return, and Gorilla gets taunted.
Oh, that teleport is down, so this means the fight is the 3 we have on your screen. That's instantly Bengi getting hit up as the Gorilla gets himself in with the Unbreakable Will and sets up for a kill.
Be careful messing with Alistar around the turret. Not a good taunt by Wolf, and it ends up pulling Bengi into a little bit of a fight. Alistar gets to ignore turrets. That's one of the reasons he's the most picked support here for most of the year and at Worlds. So really punishing Bengi very early there. The burst damage from Prey and Hojin as he was headbutted straight into all of the skill shots. Make sure work of Bengi.
They're in the wave, pushing Smet back, knows the jungle pressure is towards the bottom side, so he has time to
Faker's
deal
coming up.
a bit of damage.
Marin is baiting this. He just wants to poke down Smeb. He doesn't want to kill him right now. He's waiting for Faker to join.
Rek'Sai ultimate as well, just behind their blue, so Bengi should be here in time. They may not even need him. Stand United is on. They hit the end of the taunt by Wolf, and Faker picks himself up a kill now.
I have seen so many moves here by SKT to get Faker kills on Kassadin. These plays are extremely well orchestrated, and the best thing about this is they're not losing pressure on the lanes.
No.
While Faker's being able to roam around, no other team who's played Kassadin has been able to team play around him this well early in the game.
Simply, the mid lane matchup allows Faker to ignore Koro and say, you're not going to do any damage to me, you're not really going to push on my tower, kill his wave, and then just leave. And he does it again and again and again, and he managed to appear at the side lanes. He's ready to pick up the kills. You even see the Shen support join in. So SK Telecom right now are benefiting from Faker being in a lane where he's not going to be under any pressure at all. And he can then use his mobility to join the other lanes.
And we've seen, rewatching SKT's games, even KOO's, SKT just better at making plays off of small mistakes. Everybody went to the bot lane, a lot of teleports are down. Let's make a play on the teleport top lane. and get it to work for us.
And we can then constantly go back to, okay, what was the last play where KOO had an impact? Okay, he TP'd down to the bottom lane. But that was the play where KOO Tigers had completely misunderstood the situation, already cancelled from SMEP, so they couldn't win. The fight that means the teleport was on cooldown. Suddenly Faker can roam and nobody can join.
Exactly.
And so much of what we've seen from the KOO Tigers as well throughout Worlds is they actually do not pick up much farm by playing 3 lanes. They instead shrink the map, find team fights, and then win based on killing the opponents. Because their overall CS differentials, even at the end of the game, Hojin, Curl, and Prey in bracket stage averaged big CS differentials against their opponents. And SKT, right now, are also the ones getting kills as well as pushing the lanes. They are winning across a lot of different dimensions.
Yeah, because the KOO Tigers tend to fall behind in the early game at 20 minutes, they get pushed so far back on the map, they can't be proactive. Because whenever the other team then pushes out the wave, there's going to be 2 or 3 minion waves coming down towards SMEP. He wants to pick it up, the other team will force a fight. And SMEP has to TP away. So he has to sacrifice that farm to join the teleport, or to join the team, to get that big team fight going for KOO Tigers. That's one of the main reasons they fall so far behind in CS across the board. SMEP, despite being probably the best or second best top laner in this tournament, he's even in CS. But at the end of the game,
his job is going to get much harder against a 2-0-2 Marin. He has enough money right now. A minute and 30 on that clock for Dragon. That Zhonya's he has is most likely going to be finished before those short boots, and he'll be so powerful when this Dragon fight comes up. Getting help here from Bang in the top lane, so they don't have to worry about that pressure.
And again, look at the map pressure. Smeb under his turret facing 3 to 4 people. They are posturing a dive right here, but mainly just trying to take the turret. What KOO wants is to bait a dive and be able to save under the turret with Alistair and with the Lulu teleport, but they really just don't have the necessary information right here. It has been a KOO special to wait for turret dives and turn them around, but now they're against a much more formidable foe.
And this right here is a play we have seen all the Korean teams do in this tournament. We're down on the bottom side when there's no tier 1 tower. They push the minion wave all the way to the enemy tier 2, and then they recall off the bottom lane. Both support and AD carry recalls, and they rush to the opposite side of the map where your top lane is still sitting and farming, so they don't give away what's happening. Because all KOO Tiger sees, okay, Marin is in top lane farming against SMEP. Well, that's pretty normal. Their bot lane recalled. We don't know where they're going to go on the map. So because Marin stays, kind of fakes it, they show up and there's only 4 members pushing in the tower. But KOO Tigers this time around were ready, knew what was going to happen, and were there to defend.
Look at the pressure here from Bang. Knowing that he's got somebody behind him, KOO can feel it as well. Not much pressure there, but it looks like SKT is trying to get some flashes or some ultimates before this Dragon.
And I want to call attention to the item timings as well. Bengi just completed a 16-minute Sightstone. Some Rek'Sais in the group stages, Reyno would be one of them, were completing 4 and 5-minute Sightstones and then trying to cover the map. But knowing that they are up against KOO, who has not traditionally been an early game aggressive team, Bengi could then get combat effectiveness, finish his Cinderhulk very early, then get a late Sightstone. It works perfectly. He gets the Sightstone, he wards up the Dragon, and now they can take him.
And this is what SK Telecom wants to do with their comp. We talked about it in the pick and ban phase, how strong it is in the mid game. Right now, you have the items completed, Rod of Ages for Kassadin, Hourglass for Rumble. It's very difficult for KOO Tigers to fight. Your Jinx doesn't even have Infinity yet. You cannot team fight right now. And SKT gets a free Dragon, can even go back and defend. Hojin might set up a dive against Marin, but remember the Shen ulti. It's always going to be there. Wolf is just sitting in the mid lane, waiting for KOO Tigers to make an aggressive play, and then he joins.
Something that can easily catch them off guard is that Shen ultimate. We've kind of seen KOO within the past few games of the tournament. They bring out the Zac, they bring out the Ashe, causing teams they play against to have to ward differently, play differently in initiations. It seems like Shen is creating that possibility for SKT right now. Thwarting some kills, giving SKT the lead here in engages.
And another possibility SKT's opened up with this team comp is just a different look than we've seen for most of Worlds. Marin has played Rumble, but it's been a bit of an abnormality.
Yeah.
We have seen the top laners split pushing, and the mid laners being kind of the damage dealer. But SKT swapped around this roles for this specific game. Faker is the one split pushing and making plays, whereas Marin, a lot of the time, will arrive with the equalizers in the team fights.
Pushing the mid tower will be very hard for SK Telecom. Kassadin obviously can't really join in unless there's nobody defending. I'd rather see SKT focus on getting deep vision right here than trying to just group 4 members mid, because with the teleport on Lula as well, it should be easy enough for KOO Tigers to defend it. You see right here, they can just clear it out. Sivir is the only one who can really hit the tower, and it does absolutely nothing at this point. Get deep vision, get skirmishes with your Kassadin. That's what your goal is, not pushing in mid tower at the moment.
Well, especially because every single global on SKT is up right now, so wherever Faker goes, the rest of the team has the ability to support him right there, and then it's on KOO Tigers to stop the split push. I definitely do feel like SKT should be doing that to Fischio, but I also think that since they are up 2 dragons to 0 already, with the scaling Kassadin on their side, they're okay with this current set of circumstances as long as Faker's farm.
As long as you can keep farming, don't put him with your AD carry so they have to share and try and fight each other for that CS. It never works out. Both carries, they start whining.
Faker will always pick up more gold.
He will get some of it. He will get some of it. But really, for KOO Tigers, the fact they have double teleport means they should be able to always have the 2 side lanes, or at least 1 side lane pushing against SKT. And we might have to see them go aggressive and tower dive on the opposite side, where Faker is not sitting on this Kassadin because he doesn't have teleport, or Bang, of course, as an AD carry, and use the fact that KOO can then TP in 5 versus 4 fight for the KOO Tigers. But for now, they're still behind. The AD carry does not have any completed items, so they're not in a position where they really want to fight with confidence.
Both sitting around that same damage spike. Leandri's just finished by Marin, but sub 20 minutes in the game. That Zanya's as well. Sword boots are going to be easily finished. These guys are all items coming online right now to make things happen.
Marin is so incredibly fed, and Faker is also going with the ridiculously aggressive Kassadin build. He's going Lichbane as his second item.
I wondered what that was going to be after Aether Wisp.
Yeah, I thought maybe a Ludens. That also would make... So often you see Zhonya's as the second item because you need to Rift Walk aggressively and then avoid getting killed by the rest of the team. But it's also Faker, so he's going to be very patient with his positioning. This makes it very hard for him to go directly at the Riven, because if Riven does get the stun off, he can try and full combo the Kassadin before anything falls down. It's going to be a big skill matchup now.
Yeah, he's basically saying, I'm going to be against Lulu most of the time, so Hourglass, the armor doesn't really do a whole lot. She's not going to kill me. I want some more burst, really, for himself. Finally, with the SKT getting in the jungle, places some vision cleared out. You can see he's not afraid of KOO at all. He can barely burn through his own shield.
Lulu's damage does not come out in burst. It's very over time. The AP Lulu, while the Glitterland slows you, it's then about the auto attacks afterwards. So I do actually like the build from Faker here, as long as they continue to use him as a split pusher.
This was good though from KOO Tigers, because again they used the teleport to push the bottom side, get some damage on tower, force SKT to send someone down to defend it. They need to keep doing that, but they're only allowed to do it because SKT has not completely taken over jungle. So you can freely push out your waves right now if you are the KOO Tigers. You're not really afraid of getting ganked because you have defensive wards as well. But SKT is very clearly saying we don't want to risk anything. Just farm up that Kassadin, get that 3rd dragon, and then we'll start invading. You can see Bengi on your screen. Now he's moving into the jungle. Now KOO Tigers suddenly can move straight from the lanes to the towers and defend. They have to take the long route around, and that's where SKT can catch them in the rotations or just be there first and take away a tower.
So many options now for SKT as they move into the jungle. Faker just off on the wing to the right. You also have Wolf and Bang kind of hovering back and forth through the jungle. Bang clearing waves in mid now. Just the AD carries doing what they can in mid to farm it out. They might be able to get some good damage on him here, but it won't be a trade coming in from Bang. A little too close and not enough vision on the other side.
Prey played that extremely well. Wolf also had to flash away defensively. They burned a lot of cooldowns right there. Normally the Shen is threatening a taunt flash because he would have backup, but Prey knew he had Riven backup as well, and then SKT couldn't bring enough people with the taunt to create an actual threat, and he ends up completely winning that trade and burning some pretty key cooldowns from SKT.
And that was just when SKT finally had taken some control on the bottom side. Instantly he could push back because they have to recall with Wolf, no severe ulti. So KOO Tigers have done a very good job keeping very defensive wards. You can see on your minimap here, trying to spot every single time SK Telecom wants to move into their jungle. And then again, it allows the Lulu to move all the way down here without a tier 1 tower, push out the wave, force Faker to sit and clear it so he can't do anything without his teleport. And it just buys more time for KOO Tigers to farm up the Jinx, which is all they want to do. Just sitting mid lane, Prey is just constantly farming, and also waiting for that point where Riven can all in this Hourglass Rumble and take him down, because then suddenly you have 2 winning lanes.
And it does feel a little bit better to be Prey right now, knowing you won't get flash taunted, but you still have to worry about on the hunt, Bengi tunneling through, Faker coming through as well. So it's not going to be easy for KOO to organize these fights.
And I think one of the biggest things they have to worry about is the level 14 Rumble. Marin is an absolute monster right now. Highest CS in the game, most gold in the game, giant item power spikes, and the pre-fight poke on Alistair is absolutely huge. Bang got hit pretty hard too, though.
Yeah, got a crit. Faker delivered. Straight to him. So KOO Tigers feeling confident. Got him Vintage completed for Prey. don't feel like they necessarily have to take this one, but again, they're afraid of these dragons getting out of control.
And this has typically been where KOO Tigers has swung back their gold deficits. This is actually a tiny gold deficit. They've come back from 5,000 gold pre-20 minutes twice during the bracket stage already. It's only a 2,000 gold lead for SKT, but it's the item differentials right now. The Rumble and the Caston are huge. Equalizer missed, but Smeb is all alone.
See what happens. Faker not going to be able to chase down.
KOO can start Dragon now.
KOO can go Dragon.
KOO can go straight to Dragon.
Side of the map.
Smeb playing super aggressive, trying to force someone to move over and stop him. He has the mobility on this ribbon. That's a free Dragon for KOO Tigers. Should be at least.
Inside the pit. Chompers are down to stop up Marin. Looks like he could not throw that ult down as he just used it. Still, Hojin on the backside. Gorilla throws on the ultimate. That's about to wear off soon. He could be the next one. All flashes forced over by KOO. A chase for Marin and Bengi. Kicked. Faker's range. Faker over the wall. Are they going to be able to take down Kuro? The wild growth is down. The first one is Gorilla. That's going to be few more kills. Hojin and Prey fall to the ground, and they've only lost their support. 8-4 now for SKT.
You really got to see the power of the brute items that SKT had picked up. No Equalizer and no Faker until the complete backside of that fight, and they still wrecked them. Marin was just a walking death ball right there. Flame Spitter was pretty much all he did, and he pushed all of KOO Tigers back. Sivir ultimate to extend the chase, and KOO tried to run, but they were not fast enough.
Suddenly, Faker will join in. They have to run back from this Dragon here, but really KOO Tigers were so delayed in their decision. They pinged the mid tower when they saw Faker go for that gang and say, should we push the tower? Someone else calls, no, we gotta go Dragon, guys. And then 5 seconds delayed. That's enough for Faker to move back and join in for this fight here. Secure the kills for SK Telecom. Miscommunication will be punished by a team like SK Telecom every single time, and that's why they pick up 3 kills.
And so will that many flashes down on the side of KOO as they use them to escape that fight.
Bang always on the backside of these fights as well. Great support with the Sivir. This is SK Telecom coming online. They did make the mistake, but KOO Tigers didn't punish exactly right because of the delayed move that they made towards the Dragon Pit. If they would have been in closer position and they knew Faker would have been further away, there's a chance KOO Tigers could have actually taken that fight
for sure
with the Lulu and the Jinx, but instead they were forced into retreat, and SKT is a spectacular team at chasing down kills.
Had that Dragon just been rushed, bursted down, Marin probably wouldn't even have teleported in the first place. Just said, you know what, that is lost. We tried to make a play, it didn't work. We still have 2 Dragons, it's fine. We can now go back to play the same way, try and use Faker in one of these side lanes, but really it is hurting him. He doesn't have that teleport. That's always what you look at in the late game against a double teleport team. It becomes so difficult because every time you show yourself in one of these side lanes, you're afraid of a play happening. If he ever goes bot lane, at this moment here, KOO Tigers might just say, you know, let's rush the Baron. Let's just force a team fight at this Baron here and force SKT to move in and try and stop us. But obviously, due to the goal lead, due to the fact that SK Telecom have some very, very strong members, especially this Rumble pick, it obviously becomes a lot harder for KOO Tigers to punch that lack of teleport.
All that stuff only going to happen for Marin as he upgrades his boots. Good to go in that sense as well. Another needlessly large rod on top of all of that for more damage. Aegis being built up on both sides, so a bit of the magic resistance finally comes out. But when lanes always being pushed, now bottom lane by Marin. Getting that in favor. Mid turret goes down though with KOO. Straight pressure to the mid lane as SKT tries to get a few hits of damage back in.
Strong move by KOO there. Marin was split pushing, but KOO knew that the teleport timer was down because he used it to get into the Dragon Pit, so they very easily move up with long-range Jinx rockets, plus the Lulu for extra move speed, and safely take down that turret. Since also SKT was using deep wards, so that was kind of a turret spent on getting wards into the red side jungle of the KOO Tigers.
Sadly only a few though for SKT, and normally when you place these wards you want to be in the jungle already, so the other team can't see you, what's happening in there. They want to peek in and be like, oh, can we clear a ward maybe, and then boom, you just punish them, you kill them, and you can then rotate to the Baron. Every time KOO Tigers now gets to group up and move down to these towers, it's in their advantage because what their team wants to do. They should be able to see Faker sitting and farming and knowing, okay, we have maybe 5-10 seconds, we can get one hit or try a trade and then go back from there. But then Faker obviously will move down from his lane and be able to flank.
With Bane Faker on the Caston, the rest of this team approaches the turrets. They're going to go down quite fast. See if they can get to them anytime soon. 27 minutes in the game, average game time coming in for SK Telecom in their wins, because that's all they've done, is 32-10. So just about 4 minutes from now, they would have the win in this game. I don't know if KOO is going to allow that to happen this time. They did have a little bit of magic dust in the early game, which set SKT back. And this is kind of the time that they shine. Their items have come online. Can they get the mid-game fights they need?
It is pretty important to note that KOO has completed his death cap, which is the main power spike you get for the Lulu, and Jinx also just picked up a BF sword of extra damage to go through. But honestly, the mobility of SKT is extremely punishing here.
That's a lot of love for Gorilla right there. He gets himself out safely. KOO's throws on a wild growth himself to deter the fight even, and they lose some ultimates there.
Why was
Very big.
Yeah, why was Gorilla sitting in the mid lane when his AD carry just recalled? You're just an Alistar support. Very easy for SKT to punish him, push him away. They have full control. If you look at the top side of the map here with pink wards in the river, Baron, there's no wards from KOO Tigers. One bad fight for KOO Tigers, 1 or 2 guys die.
Game is over.
Game is over. Straight to Baron, pick up that Baron, and then suddenly you can just dive onto the enemy, or you can just 1-3-1 again with buffed up minions, and it will be almost impossible for KOO to stop.
Marin is about to hit level 18. He's 29 minutes in,
Oh,
he's at
Hojin
level
is gonna get
17
picked off
top
here.
laner. That's something SKT has done this game. They have played the waves better, and we see this 3,000 to 4,000 gold advantage, but the experience advantage is even bigger, specifically in that top lane. Marin was 3 levels ahead of Smeb just a second
He's
ago.
the only one in the game right now with a 3rd level of his ultimate. That's how far ahead he is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that equalizer scales extremely well. So that is the 3rd level of the ultimate is absolutely huge, even for Kassadin too, when Faker hits level 16, because the cooldown of his Rift Walk will drop to pretty much 2 seconds, and it makes it much harder for KOO to lock him down and burst.
And KOO was in an okay position, going back a few minutes, sitting there farming every single lane. Prey just got free farm in the mid lane. SKT didn't really know what they wanted to do, if they wanted to wait for Dragon, did they want to invade the jungle or push a tower. So they were kind of waiting it out as well. But then KOO Tigers were just so slow at reacting to that Dragon play. That's what SKT needed to get some more kills and really now open up for Baron as well.
And now there's so many different plays that they have to pick from. Dragon is up, SKT wants to stop the timer, but Baron also has to defend it. Great stop by Gorilla.
Huge knockup. 4 people from SKT.
And a choke
There's
point,
some
though.
more rockets coming in. Very nicely done. Can they get themselves some more? SKT sees that it's a very bad situation. They start to ping down towards Dragon. They may have the time to burn this one down, but they don't have the help of Bang right away. He is very hurt.
KOO outplayed that very well,
Yes.
and they got a crit rocket in the choke point. Gorilla stuffed it. Jinx was protected essentially by the Alistar, and SKT actually thought they had a larger numbers advantage than they actually did, which is why they ended up grouping up there and getting crit rocket. They're a little lucky that they didn't lose out on that one with the way that KOO played it.
Yeah, SKT as well. They wanted to bait that TP from Smeb by saying, oh, he shows bot lane, instant, start a fight, get him to TP in, and then you saw what they decided to do was run away. We don't want to chase into this choke point here. We got low. Faker. That was risky.
Very close.
Sivir ulti is down though.
Flash, Hojin gets the wild growth. They may still decide to chase this. Faker throws out a few more. And it looks like they're going to be safe this time. They have the vision on that side of the brush. SKT does not, so they can't, but they will start pushing mid.
Yeah, mid tower is open. KOO Tigers is to take the long route around.
Oh, that turret going down so fast.
It's a game of attrition right now. They're starving out the teleports,
Yeah.
they're starving out recall payments, and they're trying to starve out wards with all these other objectives up. And it's back and forth too, because one team makes a nice aggressive play and it's answered. Eventually they will run out of cooldowns or go into an irreversible play, and we will see that fight. But for now, they're just throwing jabs at each other.
Smeb has not gotten too much for himself this game. 0, 1, and 2. He's still on that Bloodthirster, on a Brutalizer, and a Hex Drinker for a bit of that survivability, but he has not been able to hit a good fight here. The team is looking
they go.
for it. Looks like Rek'Sai coming in. We just saw Bengi use his ultimate just below the team. They're all going to be there. Bengi gets hit back. He's going to be able to turn around now. They have Prey in the perfect spot, and they take down Prey. They take down Gorilla, and it's just chaos for KOO. They cannot find the right positioning. A double kill as well for Bang.
Prey was caught out of position. He didn't know if he should flash over the wall or flash into his own team, but the fact he was caught out there meant he had to run and not deal damage. Suddenly, SK Telecom can just chase, get the kills.
And people keep getting funneled into either a Marin Flame Spitter or a Faker flank. It's making it pretty safe on Faker, and now they're baiting the Baron.
Smeb about to get smushed. The Harpoon does not hit, but they get the smite down, and the Flame Spitter will cook him just right. Well done on Smeb. He goes down. 45 seconds on these timers now, and SKT is going to use that to its fullest.
We need to see how KOO Tigers were positioned on the map before that last fight. How did Prey get so far away from the rest of his team? He needs the Alistar, he needs the Lulu to peel for him so he can constantly deal damage. The moment he starts running, he does nothing. So let's see what happens. He's in the river, basically. He's so far away
He
from the
was
team.
sweeping a brush, and that's why when SKT went for the heart of the team, they single out Prey. That equalizer as well funnels everyone right up against a wall. There's no way they can't group there unless they stand on the equalizer. But it all started with that positioning by Prey.
And you can see how low a lot of the members from SKT are in the end. If Prey had been sitting there dealing damage all the time, that fight could have gone completely different. But credit to SKT, again, they wait for that opening. They use some of their globals really well to go back and shop and then return. We'll get another dragon. SK Telecom has been in full control for most of this game. Whenever there was an opening in field for KOO Tigers, they didn't take it. They allowed SKT to then say, oh, we can send Fake over to this lane and do nothing, and it's okay.
You can see the disparity in that fight. Prey running for his life. Bang, throwing out all the auto attacks and boomerangs he needed. 3,800 damage to this 800.
Yeah, and Bang is in such a position to succeed as well, because team fights, especially at the highest level, are all about threat and who is under threat.
Yep.
So Bang, in this case, the only person he really has to worry about is Smeb getting a flank. But if SKT's the one starting the fights, they don't have to worry about those things. And Prey instead had to run from Equalizer, Casting, and everything else.
Home guard stand united onto Smeb. He may be able to fight back here. KOO gives him a very early wild growth that doesn't pop anybody up. Still is using it to get out of the fight instead of in. SKT is running down the lane. Hojin can't even help on the outside right now. Somehow, KOO gets out, only losing Prey. No, there goes Hojin. Now goes down Gorilla. SKT was just looking to light the fuse, and from a double kill to a triple kill, Bang is also getting huge.
Siverald after Siverald, they're creating the large positional advantages off of these small missteps by KOO Tigers, and they haven't been able to defensively ward to avoid the rotations by SKT.
One of the changes KOO Tigers made coming into the playoff in the LCK was stop picking hyper carries for Prey. Don't rely on him to be the big carry in team fights. Give him utility, give him an Ashe pick or a Sivir pick, and we let Smeb be the carry. We try to let KOO in team fights be more of a carry. They have now gone back to say, okay, it's too predictable if we just try and gank Smeb's lane all the time. They've been playing more around what Prey could do here, put him in the mid lane to farm up, and rely on him in team fights. But the last few team fights, he's constantly just been in bad positions where SKT can punish him. Obviously, it doesn't help when Lulu has to invest everything she has onto the Riven.
Yeah.
All this was supposed to go onto Prey, and now he joins in all alone, basically.
It's a full health faker.
And to me, this fight is Smeb trying to make a play. It's a little bit of desperation. They knew they'd been losing a lot of the grouped up team fights, so he was hoping to create an opportunity in the side lane, but it ends up just drawing the whole team into a big flame spitter. Luden's Echo was just completed onto Marin. Oh dear.
After that Rylai's, the distortion boots, as we said before, so he's getting his summoners back nice and fast. And it's got to be very difficult for Smeb to make any moves against the team with On the Hunt, against the team that can rip walk. A very nice Zanya's through the wind slash. Smeb's going to go down in this one. He tries to put the nail in the coffin, but ends up in it himself. That's going to be another turret. We said it would be Baron in the base, and SKT have their eyes on it.
Level 17 Cassidon with Zonias is far too slippery to be able to take down unless you use all of your team's damage at exactly the moment that he is stunned. KOO tried to bait the side lane brush right there, which is a popular play while you were behind. Faker, you could tell, was kind of waiting for it with the way he juked side to side near the brush where KOO was waiting. And it's SKT who gets the last laugh there.
It's amazing how that once SKT has a stranglehold on your strategy, or even a slight lead, they push it wherever they want, but still playing reactively. You make a mistake, we take so much from the base. You make another mistake, that's the game. At this point, it cannot happen anymore for KOO Tigers.
And it's scary to see SK Telecom win team fight after team fight against a team that was supposed to be the better one in the late game fights. KOO Tigers has always been praised as one of the best team fighting teams in the world, where they could possibly beat SKT, who are more about skirmish, more about the early game. Not been the case in this game.
I think a lot of it has to do with the way SKT did draft for finding team fights. Sivir, Rumble, traditional team fighting 80 carries there. And even the jungle matchup, Rek'Sai versus Lee Sin. Rek'Sai is incredibly good into Lee Sin, burning that first pick on the Rek'Sai to give Lulu over, and then just positioning better than the team with the Lulu. It's been draft as well as play for SKT.
Yeah, and it's just something we mentioned, how SKT so quickly realized what could happen in the pick and ban phase by taking that Sivir into Lulu, being okay, in case you want to take the AD carry, we will have a composition that can dive it. We have the tools ready, even when we are kind of blind picking it before we see your AD carry. And Bang has just been having a great performance. He's not been the highlight, but he's always doing so much damage in these fights. He's just consistently doing so well.
Have to remember that Riven was picked at the end. Counter-picking. Oh, Hojin gets critted down immediately. A bit of Luden's Echo on the end there. Wild Growth goes onto him. Everything's been used in defense. They can't get the engages they want. It's the KOO Tigers. They love to engage, but are consistently engaged on this game by SKT and their confidence.
This time around, though, SKT wanted a little bit more Faker even jumped in and had to flash out instantly, so he didn't get to assassinate anyone. Recalling on a ward.
There aren't many mistakes that SKT has made in this tournament. I mean, the first one might have happened when they went to gank Pawn on Echo when Ryze was still level 1 Faker. Or Faker was still level 1 Ryze, I should say. You're not going to get a Rune Prison out of him, but other than that, we really haven't seen them make too many mistakes. Here, they got a victory.
This was a pretty tricky play because Hojin was trying to kick them back while SKT would be trying to finish this turret, and they get them low enough that they kind of commit over the wall, but now their focus is split between the fight and the turret. You could see Bang was finishing off the turret because they couldn't dive on the turret, but Bengi was all about the fight right there. That would have been a safer play to just have Faker be in while Bang took the turret, and Bengi overextended a little bit.
In the end though, worth it for SK Telecom because they get the tower down, they break into the base once again. They have now 2 inhibitors they can take down. One of them is already gone. The next one should be coming soon. SKT back out, split pushing. One of the things they do with Rek'Sai very often in the late game, Bengi will just be the guy controlling the wave in one lane, just pushing it in. He's not going to kill anyone, but then he will join for the fight. Of course, he has a tunnel here, just behind SKT in case they need him.
You can actually see, though, the lack of Void Staff on SKT is starting to get punished a little bit by Smeb and the rest of KOO's builds. They're building a fair bit of MR right now, and since SKT was very mid-game item priorities by going flat penetration on the Rumble and nomad penetration on Faker, Faker with the death cap and about 600 AP got a full combo off on Smeb and didn't take him below 75% health. Obviously, SKT still has massive map control.
SK tilt.
SKT just tilting.
Not the case in this game.
Definitely not the case. Oh. But no Void Staff on the way. It looks like Marin will complete his build sans Void Staff, and Faker will need to build it as his 6th item.
Incredible play so far coming from SKT. A bit of a lead to KOO in the beginning when they got the early kills, but everything punished that SKT could has been punished. Steric's Gauge now onto Bang. They're able to put some different items in their pockets here, keeping him that much more safe. As you were saying, that magic resistance getting picked up. Prey has a no magic mantle just to stop from being zeroed out immediately. And hopefully they can stay alive a bit longer here as they protect their inhibitors.
It is very hard for SKT to fight here in the base though, because the flanking option is not really there. Obviously KOO Tigers have the Nexus turrets behind them. Finally Prey sits next to his Lulu and his Alistar, so he's very safe. SKT respects it now, and they're saying, okay, we don't want to risk it, wait for Baron to spawn. Draw them out of this base here, start warding up the topside jungle. At some point KOO Tigers will come and face check. Then you get the big fight, because there's so many ways then for Kassadin to flank behind.
And that's really the story here. And SKT has been the best team at recognizing the right play to make at the right moment. So even though they've had 32-minute games, you wouldn't expect SKT to overpress the tempo right here. They're at 4 dragons. Knowing the next dragon is going to be up in 5 minutes, they can get that. In the meanwhile, the Baron will come up. They can take that, slow push the wave in the top lane, maybe get down the 3rd inhibitor turret. Because, as we were talking about, they do not have the long-range AD carry, they do not have flank opportunities within the KOO base, and KOO can hold their own base quite well. However, if that's with a Baron buff and with 5 dragons, then SKT can crack it, which is why SKT's opportunity is in the here and now. As Baron respawns, they need to kill KOO within their own jungle.
4 items now for Prey. Lulu to buff him up as well with a death cap completed. It is just so hard for him because of the fact that there's a Sivir ulti, the Kassadin, the Rumble ulti. There's so many things that's going towards him, even Flash Taunt from a Shen can be enough to win the fight for SKT. So you're put in this impossible situation as an AD carry, where you have to deal the maximum amount of damage, but there's also so many ways you can die at the same time. Here's one of them.
Marin throws the equalizer down. They're able to split from the red carpet, trying to get back into their own base. The Zanya's on Faker, makes Prey take one step too close, but he is able to get out with the Wild Growth. Eyes on to Smeb now. Everybody actually focused that. Gorilla's able to come back in, but only hits Faker, and it leaves the backline completely open. Kuro and Prey fall immediately, using both summoners that they can. Teleport still up for Kuro, but it wouldn't have helped anyways.
SKT could not stop chasing KOO. KOO could not fall back fast enough. Prey kited his heart out, but it wasn't enough. SKT used Zonius properly, ran down the fight, and they'll win the game.
That's going to be SKT earlier than what their longest game would be. That was 43-30. They put a stop to that. It's a 42-minute game 1. SKT is 2 wins away from the Summoners Cup.
And we just have to look at this early game here. When a Kassadin with no teleport managed to have more of an impact than Koro here on this Lulu, it looked very, very bad for KOO Tigers because Faker just kept roaming between the lanes. And again, whenever I felt there was an opening for the KOO Tigers to do something, They reacted a little bit too slow, maybe a little bit too afraid. They couldn't punish whatever small mistakes were left by SKT. So they never got that chance to really get back in the game. And of course, Marin on this Rumble got completely out of hand.
A little bit.
That's been a lot of what's plagued KOO Tigers, and why people have been underestimating them is because they don't seem to necessarily win the game through their own accord, but they then punish mistakes. And SKT's been the team that makes the fewest mistakes and then punishes teams that give them openings.